is they have this. I say they've got this written in stone. At the Georgia Guidestones, they've got it up that they want to reduce the world's population by 90%. So why, if that's the plan, why wouldn't they be trying to kill us, trying to poison us, trying to drug us into senility, or you know, make sure we don't overburden the Social Security system by living too long past 65? And war too. I mean, we're still they're still beating the war drums. They've even infiltrated the Tea Parties to you know, drum up support for a war with Iran when we haven't even got Obama hasn't pulled any troops. You know, we pulled 5,000 troops out of Iraq. Yeah, we're leaving Iraq, but we left 50,000 there.
Right. It's, you know, what goes on is with the words much more so than what goes on the ground, or, you know, with whatever issue you're talking about. And to me, it's disturbing how the news reports this with a straight face. You know, yeah, we're pulling out of Iraq, so we're no longer at war. I mean, all they did was change the language. You know, essentially, if there's 50,000 troops there, we're still there, whatever you call it. You know. So it's you know, these kind of things are disturbing. But what is amazing to me is that at least it appears that the general public, by and large, sort of eats this stuff hook, line, and sinker, and doesn't seem to be questioning it. Or to the extent that people do question it, they don't do anything about it. Of course, it can be difficult to do that, as you know, Clay. You start trying to really do something about the problems, and you start making any headway, and you'll likely run into some resistance. You know, I'm still crossing my fingers, waiting to see when I run into that myself, because I'm taking the path that I believe is going to set us down a road to make a difference. We're, in particular, referring to what I call the Pandemic Response Project, and our goal is to reform emergency health laws so that if there's a declared emergency, you can say no thank you to vaccines and other emergency medical protocol. And if they decide that you have to be quarantined, you can decide where to do that, you know, any legal place. But in particular, you can do that in your home if you want to.
You know, Alan, that's, again, I mean, I have seen, I've been reporting on this. I've seen this coming for 10 years. And that's one of the reasons I conceived of Liberty Villages. Because, hey, we'll just we'll quarantine ourselves in our village, you know. Okay, the restaurant's closed to you in the public now, you know, and at least and no, you can't come in here and vaccinate us. We won't come in, and we will defend ourselves here. And I think I as I told you earlier off the air, I think that's why they tried to kill me, because I know that the Liberty Village, if we generate our own power, we grow our own food, we're going to stay healthy. We're not going to be sick. We're not going to you know, we can defend ourselves to a certain extent. And now they're trying to absolutely stop that by the Food Safety Act, by these vaccinations, and you know, it's like they're striking ahead.
Well, I think the concept is terrific. As we discussed earlier, I think you need to keep in mind that even if you set something like that up, that whatever state that is in, you're still subject to state law. So I think it would be prudent for people involved in that kind of a project to also be involved in legislatively to try to get legislation passed that'll allow you the freedom to make all those choices for yourselves without somebody coming in and saying, oh, well, the law says you can't do this, or that we can do that. You know, it's something to you know, try to mess things up for you, to put it in real simplistic terms. But the concept is absolutely valid, and as we were talking about earlier, you know, the more control the larger, the more centralized control is. You know, if the fewer people who control the food supply, the fewer people who are making the laws that affect everyone, the fewer people who are controlling gas and oil and so forth, the less control that any of us has over our own lives as individuals or families or communities. And so in order for us to have and the more easily, of course, that we can be manipulated and forced to do things that are not in our best interest or that we don't want to do. So I'm a big fan of decentralization, and I think your concept there is a good one and consistent.
But
with my general ideas.
Yeah, but the Clay, it won't work because zoning won't allow you to do that. Zoning won't allow you to put a windmill on your property. Or zoning won't allow you to grow a garden in your backyard. You know, we got the Food Safety Act. We got the animal tracking system. You know, it used to be called NAIS. Everything that I propose, everything we're talking about here, they've tried to pass a law forbidding it. Or you gotta go into the zoning board and you gotta put an application in to put some teepees on your property. I mean, I've talked to people, ranchers in Texas that were near Austin, and you know, they love the idea too, but they said, well, we can't do it here because if we put up a teepee or we put a cabin. We can't have more than one trailer on our land. We got 5 or 10 acres here, but we can only have one trailer. We can only have one house. So it's like they've already anticipated or seen what I had planned and passed rules against it. I don't even know if these laws. These are just zoning.
Yeah, probably local county or even probably ordinances at a county level, something like that. But a lot of, I mean, this is why I think a lot of the work we have to do is legislative in nature. I mean, that might be something that you're dealing with at a county level or a state level or national level, depending on the specific issue. But those rules that are in there are there because somebody decided, you know, wanted it to be there and went through the steps to get it enacted. And we have, or at least I have to believe, we have the ability to do the same thing for things that we feel are in our interest and better for us. You know, we have a system that is designed for in such a way that people can, that, you know, politics is a whole separate part of it, and of course often the bigger part of it, but the starting place is that there's a system set up with a procedural mechanism for making something we want to be a rule or allowed or required or whatever, and going through a process to get that enacted into law. So if there's zoning that would prohibit you from doing what you want to do, then that is unfortunate, but it may still be within our ability to change those zoning laws so that, or get an exception if there's already something in place, you know, for getting.
The part of the problem is that everybody and you know, as you focused on this pandemic, and you know, you're not doing this to make money off of this, but we don't have any money. You know, it's hard for me just to get by, you know, and eat and do the show because I'm not putting advertising on here. I don't want, you know, I'm not going to let somebody come up and pay me to advertise something that may or may not be good for someone. That's why I won't carry gold. Who sets the prices on our gold? Oh yeah, the Rothschilds.
A year and a half or so that I've been dived into this issue, and the pandemic, of course, brought a lot of my attention. And I wish I would have known about it when these laws were quietly being passed through around the country in state legislatures, because if I'd known about it when it was going on then, I would have been on the front lines trying to stop it first. In any case, I know Alan, so I'm taking steps to try to
okay, Alan, you're breaking your
changes, and it's of course easier said than done. But I've seen the other option. You know, this is not something that you can hear. Wouldn't it be nice if in the next emergency, if they mandate the vaccines, that I could just say no, thank you? Well, I guess maybe I won't worry.
Are you still with me, Alan? Alan, your phone, I think your phone went dead, Alan. Alan, I'm having a hard time.
If there's a way you can get over it, through it, or around it.
Alan, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Are you on a mobile phone? Is your battery going down?
Hello?
You're breaking up on me, Alan.
Hello?
Alan, you're breaking up on me.